Hey guys, welcome back. It is another episode of the NightShifters. I know you love that LA Cali swag on that intro track. That is actually where I'm headed in a couple of days.
What up, my peoples?
Welcome. Hello.
Oh, sorry. Pretty soon, I will be getting headed to LA. But welcome back to episode 4 of NightShifters.
444.
Rocko.
LA, big city of dreams. Where you going to LA for, Crystal?
Well, it is the holidays. So, as promised, I want everybody to get a chance to go home, enjoy time with their families, just like the off-season promises drivers, right?
Right.
But usually around this time, they are getting ready for the Clash. Typically, I've been at groundbreaking ceremonies. So this, if they get it started, should be number 3, right?
Yep. Going back to LA. That's always the sign.
And I feel like I have to be really excited about this one because this year we don't have Fontana to look forward to. So this is going to be our only LA race.
You know, funny thing is too, Crystal, before you move on, it seems like LA is coming back a little faster than it did last year. February 4th, I believe, or whatever. It just seems like it's like that's quick. Is it just me that feels that way? But I feel like that's quick because right after Christmas, we got our New Year's, all this off-season work, but it just seems like you don't get to think about Daytona as much because you have the Clash with all the excitement that LA brings. So I kind of like LA being our precursor to the season as of late. They're our third time going there. I'm looking forward to LA this year and going back for the third time. The Grammys will be there as well.
Again.
Yep, again. So I don't know. That's just my opinion on that.
It's a good town to host it, right? Why not have a kickoff party with the Grammys? Why not?
I think that's extra special. I do like the fact that we are starting out with the Clash in LA. It does bring a different vibe. Aside from just taking everything to Daytona. It gives us LA people something to, get excited about as far as kicking off the season without having to wait on the West Coast swing, which actually comes a lot sooner than we think. But we are missing out on Fontana this year. So I am really bummed about that. People tend to think that Fontana is like California's only race for some reason, even though we have Sonoma. But
I am excited to see what it's going to look like, though, with the groundbreaking at Fontana and, the rumors of it becoming a short track. What kind of short track will it be? Because I drove past Charlotte Motor Speedway the other day and I saw them breaking ground across the speedway, and it looked like there was some type of road course racetrack being built right across from Charlotte Motor Speedway, and if I know Marcus Smith, like what he's done before, he's very forward thinking and thinking outside the box. But I see something going on even at the track at Charlotte Speedway, when I'm driving, back at home now in this offseason. So stuff is going on. Very excited at, the groundbreaking at Fontana is going to redo that track out there too. And long story short, that's another reason to go to California.
Yeah, I'm glad they get rid of it.
Go ahead.
I said I'm glad they did get rid of it. One of the rumors was it was gone forever.
Yep.
So I'm glad they're revamping it and bringing us back eventually. Should be cool.
Well, I know that's the thing. It's the eventually part that kind of worries me because that doesn't 100% mean that we're actually getting a track back. It's kind of sad to see all these images of Fontana actually being stripped and safer barriers just kind of being used to push other things around at the track. I don't feel like it's going to come as soon as we want it to. Like, I may forget about a race in LA altogether.
Now we got the Clash. That's why they got the Clash there.
I was about to say, worst case scenario, if we got rid of the Clash, I'd be worried. Like, there's no promise for a longevity with the Clash either. And it's not a points race either, So I have to rely on either going to Phoenix or Vegas, which I'll be at both. But I'm just saying for your typical local fan, like, kind of squeezing it there.
We're going to get you to more races this year, Crystal.
You get the buzz, though, with the Clash. The buzz is still high.
Yeah, it really is.
So that's a great, great positive. That's incentive that brings us back, right? So if the buzz is high and the want is there, it's kind of hard to say no. So
I actually thought about it today too, because they announced for the NFL that the Super Bowl is coming back to SoFi in 2027, I believe.
2027. What year is it now? 2024. Oh yeah. Okay.
Wow.
Well, a long time away. I take it year by year, Chris. I take it year by year.
I'm just
one at
saying,
a time. One at a time.
But how nice was it to have it? Was it the inaugural year going back to back with the Super Bowl? I thought that was great for the city of LA.
Yeah, they can handle something like that.
Yeah, there was a lot going on in the city. I thought that brought a little bit of extra interest because you have that crossover with the sports, but whatever.
Hey, can I slip a little toilet bowl knowledge to y'all? Some little NASCAR toilet bowl knowledge about
toilet bowl knowledge. Yes.
Toilet bowl knowledge is information or knowledge that you have that means nothing except for a very exclusive group. Toilet bowl knowledge is what I call it. So anyways, what you might not have known at Fontana was the site where they filmed Terminator. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know.
Right behind Credentials.
Those factories that you saw by Credentials, like those abandoned factories, if you go back and watch that movie, that's the exact location where the metal Terminator was coming to the chase. What was her name? It wasn't Sigourney Weaver. Who was the lady in Jamie Lee Curtis? Was it Jamie Lee?
Jamie Lee with the little boy too.
Right there at Fontana. I'm just putting you up on game, just teaching you a little something right there in case you didn't know that.
Facts.
Terminator.
I did know that a lot was filmed there. What is it? The Herbie the Love Bug was filmed there, the one with Lindsay Lohan. There have been a lot of commercials that were filmed there. I cannot say this is.
Then it hit like the Terminator.
But this is embarrassing. I've never seen Terminator.
Oh, come on. Party foul.
I'm sorry.
All right, we're really old, Chris. We're really old, Chris. You ever heard of Die Hard? You ever heard of Die Hard?
You can't die. So fun.
You know who Bruce Willis is?
Listen. My dad is in Die Hard.
Oh, he was an extra? Wow, he got thrown out of the building?
No. Like the very first scene when they're at the Christmas party. I saw it for that clip for the first time. Like,
wow.
I was like, that's my dad.
Oh, wow. That's cool. Yeah. That's cool.
Man, you can get a role in a movie anywhere in LA. Growing up in LA, you can walking down the street and get hired for a movie out there. So,
well,
I know I'm not trying to say your dad wasn't an actor or nothing.
No,
but I'm
that was my dad's career. He never did a 9 to 5. He was commercial print model. We would drive through McDonald's and he'd be like, "That's my hand." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" It's my dad's hand holding the fries. Like that's what it's like.
Wow. He had them good hands. He had that good handshake. You couldn't shake his hand. You shaking the money.
Yeah, so nowadays it's like my dad will just say random things like he's like, "Oh, I think I did a commercial shoot with them at a bowling alley," or like he swears he's been in a commercial with a NASCAR driver, but we'll see. I'll find out like 10 years from now. Yeah. Anyways, going back to the Clash. So every year during the Clash, they have a few things happening. It's not just the Clash or their qualifying races. For an example, last year they had the USC versus UCLA. They have their formula. I can't think of what it's called, but their open wheel challenge. And USC and UCLA have been longtime rivals. Those are your LA big college rivals.
Oh, the open wheel challenge. Can I stop you right there, Crystal?
Yeah,
because I got a great story. When I met a gentleman, one of the professors, who was it's a competition to build a Formula One car against USC and UCLA. And I met one of the teachers who was interested in sending me an engineer and intern, and get him into NASCAR. So I had a conversation with him, told him we were coming to the track, and I was able to witness that competition against UCLA. And I met with the team. I saw the car, and it was just very impressive how those students really took that competition seriously. And UCLA and USC, you never want to get those two universities confused or mistake one for the other, because they take their home turf very, very seriously. They don't really get along with each other from what I understood, but they're very prideful in their institutions. Yes,
they are. And I'm actually kind of split when it comes to choosing between the two. But while it comes to like football, I'm more USC. When it's basketball and keeping my dad alive, it's UCLA. Their medical school is top notch. So anyways, at the Clash, like I said, they have plenty of other things going on. And this year they've actually added the NASCAR Mexico series. So they got a title sponsor, which is King Taco. King Taco is known for. Have you had King Taco?
Oh yeah, I have had those King Tacos.
Really?
It was at the Clash. They have
they had them at the Clash.
Yes, they did.
Yeah. And they're actually they were at Fontana. That was like the staple food. But growing up in LA, there's a whole bunch of taco options that you can get, or like just
that's where you eat. That's one of those tracks you eat at. The Clash in Fontana has one of the best vendors in food. They have so many food trucks right out. Like, I don't think I saw much of the race because I was too busy eating. I was just using all my per diem to try out all the different food venues that they had located there, and it was so crazy. The King Taco was the one that really stood out to me.
I've never had King Taco, so this will be a first for me. Maybe I'll do like a taste test on camera for everybody. I've been excited to try it.
You gotta try it.
If you're at Fontana or you were at Fontana, it was way on the other side of the track. So that's too much of an effort. Like,
well, I got that golf cart, so I can get around anywhere I need to get around at the Trizac. I got 4 wheels all the time. Thank you, Sugg. Shout out to Sugg Sports Marketing, by the way, but it ain't mine, but I got the keys. I keep it clean though.
So my Spanish is not 100, but the NASCAR Mexico Series race is going to be called the King Taco La Batalla Colis. Oh God, I've already.
Come on, try it again. You got that. Come on, channel your inner Spanish. You're from Cali.
Spanish. King Taco La Batalla en el Coliseo.
There you go. In el Coliseo.
Coliseo.
All right, let's all try it. Your turn, Chris.
Mexico does a good job now hosting. I went there with the Bush car.
He's not even gonna try.
No, I want to hear you. Come on.
No say.
You got the King Taco part, right?
King Taco.
King Taco, no say.
No, King Taco, La Batalla.
La Batalla. La Batalla.
King Taco, La Batalla.
There you go. En el Coliseo.
Oh, that's in el Coliseo.
Yeah, I got it.
King Taco, El Batalla in el Coliseo.
So what that translates to is the battle at the Coliseum, just in case you didn't know.
Yeah. It's going to be a battle.
Mexico does a good job.
I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I don't know any of the Mexico Series drivers. I do have some homework to do. Like I said, I've always heard that the NASCAR Mexico Series is wild. Like, the fans go crazy. It's great energy.
Good time.
Have you been?
We went there when the Xfinity Series called the Busch Series. Yet again, dating myself. We made that trip down there. Had an excellent race. It was a good vibe, good energy, great food. Listen, Mexico City and the racing's got it going on.
I stood out like a sore thumb.
Really?
Man, the city had the city had like 1 million people in it. It was so crazy. It was so crowded. And I was a little bit at that time I was a little bit in shape. I was a little bit bigger. I was pitting cars. So 6'1", 255-pound black man, Blasian man, curly hair, tattoos all on his body. And at that time, I didn't even like keeping shirts on. So, I stood out everywhere I went in Mexico City. I felt like a giant.
But it was still a good time, though, right?
Oh, no, it was turned,
Yeah.
Well, I can't wait for it to happen in LA. As we keep saying, the food is always amazing. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever been to a Dodger game, but there is a huge Hispanic or Latino presence in Los Angeles. There's a strong cultural heritage there. So churros are always going to be a staple at any sporting event you go to.
How could be an Asian presence there?
There's
Otani.
Everything.
Otani. $700 million. Oh,
Big
yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm going to need.
That's my bandwagon team now, Crystal. I'm a Dodger fan now, I see I'm half Asian, so when I see an Asian get paid $700, I guess that type of money.
$700 million.
What?
And he's deferring most of it,
which was genius. I love that. He gets paid $2 million every year, and then he doesn't get the rest of the $600+ million until he's 40.
That's the Bobby Bonilla plan.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Bobby Bonilla did that too.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm excited for that.
Goals.
So off the topic of NASCAR, did you realize that it's standing room only for opening day for his debut? $900. I don't think I mean, I could spend $900.
They got to pay that. They got to start paying that bill. They got to start saving to pay his salary.
I've been investing in this since I've been born? Like the past 35 years, just putting money into Dodger Stadium with hot dogs, garlic fries, like 3 churros a game, a nacho helmet. I've got 3 jerseys.
You be on them churros. I do too.
I thought I was getting a return on my investment when I caught a foul ball at the last game I went to. Like that, but I think $900 is a bit excessive. That's like F1 prices.
Good thing I don't care about baseball. I'm on NASCAR, but when it comes to racing in the Clash, I'm gonna put on a Dodgers fit
promotion. That would be nice.
We'll have a Dodgers fit on in the Clash.
What's that?
I'm gonna have a Dodgers fit on in the Clash with my Blue Jays. My Dodger fitted. So we'll match it up. We'll represent.
Think we could get Chris into Dodger gear?
I'll rock it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So Dodger attire all weekend. Yeah. Okay, maybe just the day of the Clash.
Yeah, we'll do it.
All right, sounds good. I already got if you need to borrow a jersey, I got one.
I'll find one.
So continuing on the Clash, and Hispanic or Latino cultural heritage, it runs deep there. And I don't know if you guys remember the past 2 trophies that we've had. They were pretty, I don't want to say generic or basic, but I don't feel like they had that Los Angeles flair. The first one was at the Coliseum. I don't remember the one from last year, but this year they reached out to a local artist from South Central Los Angeles, which I like to say because I feel like LA is so big, but people have to realize that the Coliseum is not downtown LA. That is South Central LA. Yes. I feel like the name gets such a bad rap from maybe how it was in the 80s and 90s, but I feel like a lot has changed.
That's only the North Carolina people who never left, the state think that way. But, California is a very, very big state, and there's a lot of
very big. And LA is huge too. I actually get pissed off whenever people say Fontana as LA because that's San Bernardino. Get it right. Anyways, they did choose an artist. And Adam, if you want to go ahead and bring up the images, these are the early renderings of what the trophy's going to look like. What do you guys think?
So you got a little old school car flare there, look like from the Lowrider back in the day.
Yeah, I see a little Scorpion King vibes. Yeah. I'm getting my Aztec vibes.
King.
Yeah, I see a little Aztec. I see a little is that little Hindu tribal top?
A little tribal. It's different. Hey, I tell you what, it's different.
Hey, my lucky numbers, they're 22 inches.
22.
Like 22-inch rims. You see it in the middle? I love it because LA's got deep.
Yeah, they do.
Culture. I don't know if you guys have been to the Peterson Automotive Museum or just like watch the cars drive by in the middle of the street, just on the street.
No, I think that trophy had a lot of layer, text, and depth. Where I feel like you can sit there and that was deep.
Something new every time you look at it.
That was deep.
Yeah.
Who do you guys think is going to win the Clash this coming year?
Joey Logano?
No. I'm going.
Noah Gregson.
Noah. I'm going with the new guy.
Whoa.
Noah. Yeah. I like that.
Noah.
Yeah. Let me tell you about Noah. I think Noah might, I don't know, man. You might, what is it? F-A round and find out. F-A-R-A-F-R. F-A-R-A-F-R. Yeah. Every time, remember when Kyle Larson came off his suspension, you come out with some motivation.
Well, let's rewind a little bit.
What?
So you predict that Noah Gregson is going to win the Clash. So I think it makes sense to mention the fact that he's actually officially coming back to the Cup Series.
Welcome, Noah.
Saw this news today.
Welcome back, Noah. Make sure you holler at Chris Justice, as soon as you walk into the shop,
Say hi.
You better take him under your wing, CJ, because, me and Noah, we got some history. I'm down with Noah. I'm glad he fought what he had to go through to get back.
Yep.
And
was successful. He did his thing. He paid his debts.
He did. And then I told you I'm down with Noah. He had a quote that really stood out to me, about learning from his mistakes. And I just thought that was really dope. And this is coming straight from the words from his mouth. He said, I didn't want to sell them. And he's talking about in regards to coming to y'all at Stewart Haas. I didn't want to sell them, Gregson said. I wanted to tell them exactly where I was in life and have them make that decision. I wanted to be honest and open with them. And I didn't go in there to pitch them. I went them to tell them exactly where I'm at. And I'm somebody who's all about second chances. I'm not perfect. I've made mistakes. I've needed that second chance to get me to where I was. So game recognized game. And I like the way Kyle Larson did it. And I like the fact that, accountability is really, really big with me. And he held himself accountable as long as he learned from his mistakes and he's not a repeat offender to make double mistakes. No, he should get on from this very, very positively. And I'm pulling for the dude to really ball out and to make the best of this opportunity, because Stuart Haas, not everybody gets this blessing. You make a mistake and then you don't always get the second chance to be as sweet as the first chance, you know? So, that's dope where your second chance is as sweet as your first chance. So, you better take advantage of it, because running for Jimmy wasn't no slouch either, And despite how that relationship ended up, I already know he learned a lot over there.
He had to. 7-time champion.
Sorry, your head, Crystal. I was zoned out. I didn't even see anything. I had tunnel vision. I was just talking.
You to complete your thought. I just want to say, I look 100%. I back Noah Gragson because he's from Vegas. That's our Vegas kid in the Cup Series. I always have to support him. Like, I've interviewed him, talked to him. I think he's a great kid. I'm old now. I get to say kid, just not as old as you. The only thing that I have to say, and by all means, like, I'm glad that he is growing up, he's maturing, he's learning his lessons, and he's coming back full throttle. The only thing about this is that it's starting to look like it's trending upwards for drivers to make these racially insensitive mistakes and then end up on a better team. I'm not saying it's being done on purpose, but it's just when you look at the national headlines and news that like outside of the sport, I think that creates a terrible look.
Well, here's how the look is. The look is self-imposed for the simple fact that the best are the ones with the microscope on them. So when you have the talent that Noah has, that a Kyle Larson has, first of all, everything you're doing is held through a microscope. You can't hide anymore. You lose all of your private whatever. And there was a time where he said he had to be more selfish with himself and what he was trying to accomplish as an athlete. And you don't know that coming up, but he had to be more selfish with himself he wouldn't just allow everybody to follow him. He couldn't just follow everybody, because you never know how following someone or being tied to someone could have a negative effect on you in a way that you didn't even prepare for. And we've seen that with Noah. We saw that with Larson. So long story short, they aren't the only ones that are doing that have made that mistake. They're not special or so bad or good for making that mistake or whatever the case may be. That happens all the time. We just see it because they are great at what they do. So the spotlight is on them. They're always being watched. So they just have to be more meticulous and they have to fine tune that a little bit more. And opportunities like this and mistakes like this just gives you that opportunity to get better at that. So I'm excited to see what he does with that opportunity, because I feel like that's going to be a lit year for him.
Yeah, exactly, Rocko. It's a lot of that going on that doesn't get the press because they're not in the spotlight. You got a lot of crew members that'll slip up and say some things they don't need to say too. But obviously that never gets on Twitter or never hits, TikTok or the news or, Yahoo Sports, because they're not in the limelight. So that I agree 100%. He made his mistake. Like you say, none of us are perfect. Let's see how he rebounds. I'm pulling for him. That's my guy.
I think he's going to do well. I think we'll probably see him get close to getting that first win. I don't want to put the pressure on him, but I think he's completely capable.
Yeah, pressure's on. We're going to start in LA. Let's go get him.
All right. So
you ever heard of Hugh? Hey, y'all ever heard of Hugh? Do y'all know Hugh?
Yeah, you damn right.
Hugh damn right. Little NASCAR lingo for you. Hugh damn right. All right, I'm done.
All right.
How did I know that was going to happen? Anyway, so Noah Gragson is going to the 10. The 10 belonged to Eric Almirola. I remember last week we were talking about how he was spotted at the Commanders game with Joe Gibbs, and it was like a soft launch of him going into Xfinity. So what do you guys think about now that it's finally out there? How long have you been holding on to that information, Chris?
Well, that's been holding on for a little bit. Like he said in his press thing, 20 years ago, coach gave him the call to come race for him as a rookie. And, now he's back. I think it's a home calling. I think it's good for the sport. I think it's good for him and his family to finish where he started and go out with the guy who gave him a shot when nobody else did in the beginning. I think it's a solid move.
And not only that, when you have the opportunity as an athlete who has performed on the level that he has, and you can go out on your own terms and not really be forced to go out, but kind of create a situation that benefits you and your family and what you want to do. You know, I mean, I feel like, you know, he must be living his life right to be able to have that, to be in the position to go out the way he wants. And, you know, I feel like, you know, we all know Joe Gibbs is a devoted Christian man, and you know, he's not scared of showing that. Almirola has those same type of vibes. I feel like, you know, they're a good little energy with that. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him in victory lane several times, you know, especially since he's racing without the stress of having to be there full time, and he's racing on his own terms. That's got to be pretty dope, you know, to be able to do that.
Yeah, the weight's off his shoulder. He's not trying to, you know, appease the sponsors and
working with younger drivers, helping them out. You know, it's just doing what he's just, you know, I feel like, you know, I'm happy for him that he got put in that position. You know, I'm trying to get like that. He won't, you know, he won an Xfinity. And he actually won, you know, last year in lesser equipment Xfinity series. So now he's going to be behind that Joe Gibbs power. He's going to be feeling good. He's going to be vibing. He's going to be living his best life. I predict about, if he's racing 7 races, he'll probably win 5.
I'll go with 5. Yeah,
I go with 5 too.
He's got it. He's a wheel man. He's
OG, triple OG, you know, and he's playing with the kids now, you know, so you got to show him stuff. And I like the fact that he's going to Xfinity series because, you know, it's not as bad as the truck series, but those younger guys really need somebody of some veterans, you know, of some veteran prowess who's confident to check these little youngsters, man, you know, because if the Xfinity series gets to like the truck series, where you remember that last race in the truck series we saw, I mean, 10 cautions at the end, you know, there's no respect. There's no rules. It's just little kids running over little kids, you know, and it's just no respect to the point where if you see somebody who's been 10, 12 years in there, you should have some type of coup, some type of etiquette, especially since you are racing against each other every single week. And I just feel like, just like how we do with our pit crew guys, the veterans got to get in there and twist some ears of these little young guys a little bit and earn some respect from them so they'll listen to them, because no little young kid is just going to listen to an old guy just because he's old. They got to get that respect earned, you know, and I know that from my own kids.
Yeah. It's earned. Respect is earned, not given, right? So it all starts.
So with your top talent, like your big name drivers leaving Stewart-Haas, where does that leave Stewart-Haas now? You've got Noah Gragson coming in. You have Ryan Preece, Cole Custer, and then Josh Berry as well. So who's going to end up
you got
being
Chase Briscoe in there. Custer's still on the Xfinity side. But what it does
for you, that's right. Sorry.
No. But what it does for you, though, you get that young energy in there, right? So your older guys are retiring. Now you got new life. So, you know, you got to think about it. The Smokes and the Harvicks, they're all rookies at one point. So they're going to build their legacy. These young guys will. And they've been around these veterans enough now they should have learned something from them and gained some type of, you know, as Rocko would say, cheat code on the track from these old school guys that they've been racing with and around throughout their career. So it'll be a good time. And we got a good network over there of old school drivers and old crew chiefs. And, you know, it's a big racing community in that building. So it's a lot of knowledge over there. You know, it didn't really translate into wins last season, but we still got it.
Okay. So going away from Stewart-Haas, we also got news that Shane Van Gisbergen, our Chicago Street Course winner, I said it right with
SVGZ.
Yeah. I think people are excited to see that he's racing more. Like the thing is he's leaving from being at the peak of his career in Australia to come race in America. He doesn't have a full cup schedule. We've never seen him on an oval. So how do you think his year is going to come out? Keep in mind.
He's going to bring a whole new set of fans to our NASCAR thing.
35.
Let me tell you this too. That's another dude who okay, he's leaving one great situation he's in, balling out in Australia, driving those supercars. And he says, hey, I'm just going to leave my situation, go across the country, go whoop their ass in a race in NASCAR. Then next year, move my whole family over here and run over 33 races next year with a team called Trackhouse, who are proving themselves to be a formidable force in motorsports as well. I mean, they're starting a MotoGP team. Like, I don't even watch motorcycles, but I want to go to Italy just to see the motorcycles that they're going to be racing against. And not only that, they're bringing another fan base in too. So this is a track house thing. I mean, SVGZ is coming from Australia, bringing all his fans and all his following. Then you have Trackhouse doing activations that's starting a MotoGP team as early as next year in Italy. And then just think, you have Italians over there who don't even know what NASCAR is, but you go over there and start whooping their butts and on their own bikes, then they're going to start relating to Trackhouse and putting eyes on NASCAR. And we already are getting $7 billion over the next 6 years or so. So, at the end of the day, NASCAR is trending upwards. I really like the conscious effort on getting eyes on our sport.
Yes, exactly. And that's what it does. SVG coming over is just creating more eyes on the sport, new fans, like we talked about, like our podcast purpose here, man.
Yep.
Bring new light to new fans and intrigue them so they pay attention and watch more of us. And that's what he's going to do.
Shouts out to Justin Marks. Justin Marks gets a shout out. He's doing it the Mark Cuban way. Not caring about how it was done before. He has his own ideas of ownership. He looks good at the track. He's always vibing. He's always smiling. He's always busy. And to the fact where he jumped on a plane and with Jamie Little and I forgot who else and created this activation on this announcement to the MotoGP. If I had the money he had, I'd be moving just like him. There's a lot of similarities in the way Justin Marks moves and the way I dream of living one day.
Well, I just want to get a feel for how people are going to perceive him that maybe aren't aren't part of his following right now. Like, I just wonder how his appeal is going to come off. Like, what's going to happen when he finally hits an oval? Because how many times does this man run on an oval? He won the Chicago Street Course fair and square. Right. I thought he did a great job, but that's because these cars are built for drivers like him.
Yeah.
So without that oval experience and like the diversity in tracks, like I wonder how that's going to come out. I wonder where that car is going to end up.
They're going to give it to him. They're going to give it to him.
Yeah, it'll be a learning curve for him, definitely, right? But great drivers adapt, right?
And they have a plan for this guy. This guy isn't just coming in the cup. He's running a full Xfinity series. And he's running ARCA. He's running road races. He's running 33 races in 1 year, and this is off of his first year. So he's running, and this is a 34-year-old man. Most 34-year-old men don't even get a shot at their first year in a sport. You got to come in on the younger side of things. So, he's beast mode. He's a dog already as a 34-year-old man to come in the sport as a G and can just bypass all the ladders and the steps that these other guys have to do prior, So SVGZ for Sheezy.
I think I'm just keeping people in mind like Ricky Carmichael or Travis Pastrana coming in from Supercross. You're doing, 2-stroke, 2 wheels. Like they came over into NASCAR, and I wouldn't say that they did their best, but they also didn't run a full season in Xfinity. They just did like one-off races. So I feel like their crossover may have not been as successful. So I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen with Shane. That's awesome. Yes.
Besides Shane, SVGZ for Sheezy, I'm getting a little weirded out.
I love that.
I'm getting a little weirded out. You got my boy Jeff sitting on top of your head, just staring right at me, man. I feel like he's just looking right at me, And
how do you think I feel? By the way,
that's my dog right there. By the way,
how do you think I feel when I'm getting dressed? I have to look the other way because I've got Jimmy.
You put him there.
I know, but that's I didn't have any other space. This is gonna be moving into other areas of my new
He's
place.
A married man. He's a married man.
Oh, wait till you see who I have like on the
Jimmy
other
is too.
Look, I've got Richard Petty up on the far end of my wall, and I've got Dale Earnhardt. So they're all there. They were all from when I moved from my other place. I didn't have a spot for them, so they all ended up in my little small bedroom.
Like, hey, boss man, every time you talk, what's up, boss man? What up, Jeff? What up?
And obviously they have one thing in common with me. California
Cali.
people.
Cali.
Oh, the Cali
Anyways,
connection.
moving on. So I'm talking about like crossovers and having a new eyes on the sport. Camara showed up in a safety car at the game on Sunday.
Talk about an intro, right? Let's just pull up.
And then the walk. The demeanor, the sweat.
I didn't know that was gonna happen.
Show the video.
I was at my other job. I hadn't watched the game. I'd been super busy with packing. So when I showed up at work, I had my Camaro jersey on because I am a Saints fan, who dat all the way, and I have my Camaro jersey. So when I showed up at work, I had a table, and these guys were just like, "Hey, he showed up," and they made a slight mistake and said it was a modified car. So I was really trying to figure out what that looked like. And then I get on social media and they're like, yeah, he showed up in the modified car and they had NASCAR. And I was like trying to tell them how involved, Camara is with NASCAR, and they thought it was amazing. So I'm glad that, he's finally starting to make more appearances since he had his legal battles with what happened here in Vegas during the Pro Bowl. I feel like he kind of went a little silent. He was still at the track showing up and doing stuff with NASCAR, but it's nice to see that now it's stepping outside of the track and it's making its way into the NFL. He did it once before with his helmet, but now it's like he had a pop-up, a fashion pop-up.
We need Camara. We need him to keep doing what he's doing, man. He's putting us in the NFL. He's an all-pro NFL, loves NASCAR. He's about that life. He's got it running through him. When he's at the track, he's there watching it. He's a great representative. I think that is so awesome to have somebody like him in our corner representing the way he does. Great ambassador.
Great ambassador. And also that's bringing another set of eyes yet again to the sport.
Yep.
So SVGZ, Alvin's doing it. Like we eyes everywhere. Let's do it.
So now we just need to get Ohtani on the bandwagon.
No, Ohtani gonna be living that 40. That's when he really gets paid. When he's done with baseball, he ain't gonna be, man, please. I ain't gonna say what he ain't gonna be doing, but I'm over there counting his money for him.
There's a football player. Very, very good easy on the eyes, I would say. So you should know who I'm talking about now. And I did look back at an interview. This is a few years ago that he did. And somebody asked him what he would do if he wasn't going to play in the NFL. And he said, probably NASCAR. Do you guys know who that is?
Who?
I said he's easy on the eyes. That should be a giveaway. Not Tom Brady.
Easy on the eyes.
Who's Beyonce?
No, NFL player.
Oh, I don't know. No NFL players easy on my eyes.
Easy on the eyes, Crystal.
Jimmy G.
Who? Jimmy G.
Jimmy G said that if he wasn't playing football, that he would go and be a NASCAR driver.
Really?
Yeah.
Just because he got fast cars don't make him a NASCAR driver. He better stick to throwing balls. When I see Jimmy G at the racetrack in Sonoma, then I'll believe that, so,
Jimmy G, pull up. Come on.
Everybody want to do it till it's time to do it.
I'd love to.
What is it? A-round, F-A-R-A-F-F-A, whatever.
Why don't you just say F around and F out?
Yeah, F around and find out. Jimmy G.
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
All right. So, like every episode, there's always a breakdown for the pit crew. So this part of the show, I'm going to leave up to you guys. Yep. I don't know who wants to take it over first, but how are we looking on pit crew?
Well, listen, we both pull up some analysis, and we got pretty much, a collage of what's going on. There's no standard for how these pit crews are decided on who has the best pit crew. So Rocko and I decided we're going to just create that standard. What we have done over the past week is kind of looked at industry standard that is as of now, say who has the best crew overall, who has the best front carrier, front changer, rear changer, jackman, and just break it down and see who's who of the best in the world at their pit stops. And
absolutely. Yep. Coming from Chris, and now that we're going into 2024, the first thing everybody's going to be wondering is which crews are going to repeat as champion. Because remember, when you are the champion pit crew, when you win that event at the All-Star race, that is $100,000. So if you're not thinking about $100,000 middle of the year, then you shouldn't be breathing, because that's what we're all about. We're all about competing at a highest level, and the ratings, it's funny how it can be a bit different across the board. Here we are. If we show, Chris, who is the top three from Stewart-Haas that is as conveyed to you as Stewart-Haas? The top three pit crews.
So you got the 4, 10, and the 14.
Okay. Now there's
Top
another
4.
list. There's another list for the top 3 pit crews. You want to know who
Top 3
those are?
pit crews.
The 24,
The
the
5,
5,
and then the 4.
and then the 4.
Right.
So the one consistent thing I will say, the 4 is there the whole time. Now, why is that? The 4 is one of the oldest and one of the most veteran crews out there, correct? They have a lot of continuity with each other and a lot of pride.
You got a lot of guys that work well together. You got a lot of veterans out there, and they gelled. And we talked about that in the past couple of episodes. They gelled. They had the synergy. They worked well. They communicated, and it showed.
I just want to give y'all some insight. We're not going to stay too long on this topic because we're going to have a whole season to give you the information that we're going to be giving you. But if we bring up, I want to bring up a slide that Asphalt Analytics posted of the number 20 car and how their 2022 looked compared to their 2023. And if we can zoom in on the 20 and you see it, 2022 in Phoenix, you had Caleb Dirks, Nick Macbeth, and Jackson Gibbs on that team. And that transformed with an influx of the 23 and the 43 to make up the 20, which was Daytona at 2023. Mind you, that whole team was swapped with the 54. Keep in mind, when that team was swapped with the 54, it was because the 54 had the highest position rankings and the overall rankings, which was demonstrated on the right side of the paper. How the matrix and the formula that comes up with these numbers is very, very complex. At the same time, there is so much data that we have access to in determining who is the best up and down pit road. It's going to be so fun and exciting to give you that information on a weekly basis, because in my mind, the 12 car, who is the champion, they automatically are the best pit crew. They won the champion. They won the championship this year. Next, you will have the 24, the 4, and the 5. But off of strength of winning the championship, enduring all that they endured during the year, I don't think the 12 was even on the radar in the last 3 playoffs. And then they weren't even.
No,
I
was saying on the list, he fell in 10th. The 12 was on 10th, right?
In 10th place, and they are champion.
Yes,
they are our champion. If you look at the list, and I want to show you another. Look, bring up the ace, the picture of the 12 team, and theirs is going to look very different because they are the exact same crew from 2022 to 2023. There's nothing more fulfilling than being the team that was there from the beginning, where you were the ones that went through the rough times, went through the hard times, went through the bad pit stops, the loose wheels, persevered. Your team believed in you enough to keep you in that team all year, and you rewarded them with putting their driver in a position to win the championship. You see, the 12 is the same from 2022, 2023. That is a tendency of Penske. Penske has very low turnover with their pit crew members. That's because they treat their athletes very, very well. Athletes do not want to leave there. At the same time, they're rewarding them with great performance, and they are our champions. Now, if you look at the overall ratings, their overall ratings does not compare as high as with the 20 car, the 54 car, the 24 to 5. But at the end of the day, does it really matter when you won the championship? Those are the questions and the type of things we have to ponder when it comes to determining who's the best. And I look forward to doing that.
Yeah, so 2024 season will be full of good pit stop analysis every week. We'll have that live info. We'll have the good feedback. And we can see how these crews shuffle around. We see how these crews gel, create some synergy, or fall.
We're there every week too, Chris. So there's no hiding from us. We're there every week. And at the end of the day, some of the best stories, the storytelling in our sport is with our pit crew members. And we have a lot of content that we have to produce. We got $7 billion over the next 6 years that we got to produce in content. So we might as well use some of these superstars and these athletes that we have to show why our sport is so great.
That's right. That's right. And
quick question on the rankings. Where did the 6th team fall? Because remember, they got pit crew of the year, right?
The 16, and remember what we talked about that in the same time, which also is very confusing to me as well. How can you win pit crew of the year and you don't win a single race? It's all because of the formula, which Mechanics Wear does as well, which they take in passing cars on the track, They take in the driver entering and leaving pit road, a bunch of factors that shouldn't be accounted for because they have no bearing on the overall pit stop. Not to mention, pit crew members can't even control the actions of the driver, and their actions directly affect the speed of our stops all the single time. And some drivers are better than others. So not every driver, just because he pits his car and we change our tires, does not mean he came in the pit stall correctly. Jeff Gordon was a demon at that. He was dope at that. He could come in. Kevin Harvick, really good at coming in and out. Denny Hamlin, he has a lot of speed and penalties, but he's one of the best drivers in the world at coming into his pit box because he's always pushing the envelope. And who does that benefit? His crew members, because we're the ones with our lives on the line for in tenths of a second. So anything the driver can give us to help us help him is well welcomed in my eyes.
Absolutely.
And we did talk to a couple more pit crew guys, right?
Yeah, from the end of the year.
End of the year, we got a
recent review from them Stewart Haas boys, man. You got some horses over there, some dogs, Chris. You interviewed.
Yeah, I caught up with a couple of the dogs over there today. We got Brandon Bakes and Cap Fletcher.
Yeah,
2 Jackmen. Brandon is from the 4 car, and Mr. Fletcher is from the 41. And they just want to give us a little recap on their season and what they're looking forward to.
What's going on, y'all? This is Brandon Banks, the Jackman on the 4 car. Just touching bases on the recap of the 2023 season. It was a good one. Kind of going out there and sending Kevin Harvick on his last, year being in NASCAR as a NASCAR Cup driver full time. Kind of things to kind of look back on. Being the crew that kind of gave him his last couple wins and a couple other good top 5 finishes throughout the year. It was good. It's more steady this year, versus as last year. It was kind of all over the place. It was kind of a must-need, desire season and everything like that, where this year everything was kind of just smooth. Everything meshed together pretty good, between driver, pit crew. I feel like we did our thing this year, and just some things to kind of look forward to going into next year, just trying to be more consistent, going out there and fighting to be the best team out on pit road that you can be. Doing that, I'm in the process right now of recovering from a shoulder injury, just got surgery and everything like that. The recovery time on that is not going to be bad. Just getting through this December month and come back into January where I can be strong in the game and doing what I had to do.
Banks.
Yeah, so we heard him talk about it again, about how they meshed and how well they felt in this season versus the last season. So, it all comes full circle. We keep repeating ourselves, but that's the nature of this game. You got to have that synergy. You got to gel, got to work together, you got to communicate to be the best and to be in the top 3. And no matter what rankings comes out, the 4 guys are always at the top.
Yeah, they are. Proud of Brandon Banks, too. I know how hard it is to put a driver out in his retirement year, as I state all the time, being a part of Jeff Gordon's pit crew in his final year, it was hard because every mistake you did was going to hinder him from finishing the year that he needed to go out. So glad to hear Brandon Banks excited. I hope his surgery went well, and I'm excited to see him get back to beast mode form in January. And then Kapil, too, who you got coming up here, right? You got Kapil, too?
Kapil's up next.
Yeah, as far as on the 41, I feel like we made good strides last year, pit crew wise. And as far as performance wise, we had some races where we performed real good on the track, had some good finishes. But what we look forward to in 2024 is, continuing what we've been doing on pit road as far as improving and everything. And as far as the whole team, just getting in the victory lane. So that's what we're really working towards in the off season and everything. So basically it's just getting better, improving on what we did last year on pit road, and as an overall team, putting it all together and getting into victory lane.
That boy was smooth, wasn't he? Hey, let me do my best Kapil imitation. So, Kapil, he a cool dude. He went to the University of Kansas. He a tall guy. When Kapil first came into sport, he was wearing church shoes and slacks with the pleats in them and those track pants. We had to let him know, get you some Dickies, yo. So, he's come a long way on that 41 crew, So, I'm just trying to talk like Kapil Fletcher, the coolest dude, the coolest jack man in the game.
Hey,
That's
he's got some
Kapil.
swag, boy. He's got all swag.
I had to do my Kapil impersonation. He came on there so cool.
That's all
And
you
you
get
know
out
what?
of him.
I look forward to having, a lot of the pit crew on here. Like, I think the sport definitely, or at least fans, deserve to hear from them.
I agree.
Often.
I agree. Yeah.
So I guess, if everybody's looking forward to next year, I think my thing is hoping that we get more of those pit crew guys, those voices and faces on our screen.
Oh, they're gonna be here because we're gonna have dogs of the week. We're gonna when you mess up, we're gonna highlight you. Show when you mess up. When the commentators get it wrong, we're gonna correct them and show them what they should have said, what they should have done it.
Oh, yeah.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda's gonna be out the door with us.
Are we really gonna put them on blast like that when they mess up?
They're professional athletes.
When they mess up, let's do
They're
it.
the best in the freaking world. We don't know their names until they mess up. So at the end of the day, this is what we want. We want the spotlight. We want this. If I was still pitting, that's how I would be talking about. That's how I would be talking it. And I know there's some dogs like me out there still.
Awesome.
Like
us.
us.
You guys looking
like us.
next year.
Yeah.
This way. Which way is
Pointing
it? This
the
way?
wrong way.
Yeah, it's this way. Yeah, this way.
Yeah, that way. Oh,
Like us.
So what
Like
are you guys
us.
looking forward to since this is the final episode of this season? What are you guys looking forward to for next season?
Working out hard and coming back in January like a pure beast. I'm going to be 30 pounds heavier of pure, unadulterated, slaw-rated muscle. We're going to be ready to go. All my athletes are going to be ready to go. Everybody's going to be signed up on house cars. They're going to be looking good. They're going to be feeling good. Daytona's coming. The countdown is on. That's what I'm looking forward to.
I'm just going to skip the clash. All right. Next.
Kickoff.
Yeah.
I'm ready to get back at it. We'll start with the clash, get out there, get our feet wet, get the excitement back. Then we get to Daytona. That's when the magic happens, 200 plus miles an hour, inches apart. And that's when our season begins, man. And that's where we start our journey to be great. And it's a long road. You got to take one race at a time, one weekend at a time. But that's what we live for. So it's going to be good. I'm excited. I can't wait.
So much for our 30 minutes. Damn.
Well, that's okay. It happens. So I do want to reach out to everybody that has subscribed to our YouTube page. Anybody that's followed, listened, watched.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The support. We appreciate the support. We are just getting started.
Yeah,
but
we
I
are.
like the direction that we're headed. Please follow us on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on all major streaming platforms. I don't want to say
Wherever you get your podcasts.
Exactly. If you're on that long travel home for the holidays, please give us a listen and be sure to subscribe if you are not subscribing already. We will see you guys next season. We will probably come back before the clash. I will release the date of the first show of the season for next year once we figure it all out. We'll be back. We'll be better.
Yeah. We'll get it.
Anything you guys want to say while we close out the final episode?
Hey, Merry Christmas. Be safe.
Peace, love, and happiness.
See you on the flip side.
You guys will still hear from us throughout the week or throughout the months. Just little excerpts on our social media just to keep you guys listening and keep you guys updated. But for now, happy holidays and happy new year. See you next time.
See ya.
Peace.